Before we jump into today's video, look at this custom theme. The custom themes on FL21 are crazy. The fact that you could just adjust everything inside and just completely change it is honestly just one of the coolest things about this update. But with all that out of the way, today I'm going to be showing you how to make dark beats for Lil Baby that sound like this. So I actually made this melody in November and I just haven't done anything with it. So today we're going to finish the beat, but I'm going to show you exactly how I made all of this step by step and all of the plugins and effects to get it to sound how I have it. And the best part about it is it's very, very easy to make, create, and it's really just about sound selection and then a few other things. So it's going to be a real cool tutorial, and then I'm going to let you download this loop as well. So make sure to stay tuned for the whole video to check it out. And then at the end, you can actually download the loop and cook up a beat with it. So in Ethereal Earth, we're using this Eternity preset, which sounds like this. No processing on it, just like that. And we are going to be at 142 for the BPM, you can see right here. And for the key, we are in B minor. And the reason I started right here is because we can go from C sharp to D, which is going to give us tension because it's just up one note like that, right? And then we can fall back to the root note of the scale, which is going to be B, and then drop down to something like G, which is also close to F sharp. And you've heard it a million times, but staying with notes that are close together like this is going to give you that tension. So let me let you hear this and then I'll break down how it is, but it's really simple. Let me show you how you can create something really close to this or very similar, right? So we have B, which is going to be the start of the B minor scale. We're actually going to start on the 2, which is going to be right here. And all I'm doing is skipping a note here. I keep saying skip a note, but what I mean is skip a space right here. So we're going to skip this space and then place right here. Skip another space and then we can place somewhere else. So we could drop down to B so we can hit that first note of the scale. And then actually let's switch it up and let's skip another space right here. But let's drop down over here to G. And then we'll go skip another space right here and we'll drop down to F sharp. Then we'll go back to G. And then we'll go back to B. Right, and then we can copy this over and let's switch it. Maybe for this, we can switch over from F sharp to G and then keep these close. Sometimes I like to have them repeat like that. Now let's take this B right here and actually put it to C sharp. And then you can take this and go like up or down 1 octave, but that's really how I created that melody. Super simple, just use notes that are close together, right? Then the second sound is just an accent sound. It's in the same bank and this is the preset right here. And all this is doing is following on this lower B and then a higher B. And it's just kind of like a plucked accent kind of sound. It sounds like this. So you're probably wondering how this sounds anything close to what I showed you in the beginning of the video, the preview, and you're going to see because it's going to be what we reverse, stretch it, and pitch it that gives it that sound. We really focus on sound selection and then the melody that you're creating. All right, so the last sound is going to be in the same bank as well, and it's this forest flute sound. This one's really cool. I would definitely recommend trying it out, especially if you're just using it as like a one-shot accent. And again, all I'm doing is hitting a lower B to a higher B. It sounds like this. So then we get them all together and it sounds like this. See those plex sounds sound really cool right there. So let's loop this section right here because we're going to render it out. I'll explain this bell part after because we need to render it out first to get this. So all I'm going to do is select it, hit Control-Alt-C and hit start. All right, so now we got it rendered. The cool thing about the new FL update is you can actually bring up the volume right here. You can reset the gain and you can do fade-ins right here, which is amazing. I've been waiting for that forever. And let's bring the volume down a little bit. Then we're going to reverse it. And we're going to bring the pitch down by 1 semitone. And then we're going to put this on stretch. And now let me show you what it sounded like before real quick. That's cool, but check this out. The reverse is crazy. On the bell, all I did was take that same melody, and that is in Analog Labs, and it's from my Loveless preset bank, which is actually like an R&B trap soul inspired bank, but pad 8 just sounds really, really good. And then the effects that is being ran on that is Valhalla Vintage Reverb right here, and then some shaper box, which is a volume ducking, liquid, and pan, which you've seen me use in a lot of my R&B tutorials, but it sounded really cool for this as well. And then some EQ, right? And then together sounds like this. And then without all the processing, you just want to have that evil feel to these beats. Once you get that locked in on the melody, you're good. You just add a really hard hitting 808, add some really hard hitting drums, and then that's it. The beat just sounds evil. It just sounds aggressive, and it's perfect. So let's get into adding the drums. Don't forget, as I mentioned, there'll be a download link in the description of this video for you to download this loop so you could cook up with it as well. And I might include some of the drums too. But yeah, we just have a hard hitting 808. We have a snare, we have the hit one hi-hat, and then a couple drums from the resupply drum kit, which is going to be clap 15, open hat 8, and then snare 24. So let's just get straight into adding the drums in. I'm gonna go over here and add in a 2-step on the hi-hat. Let's go ahead and hit Control A, Shift D to make these all the same size. And then we'll just work with the 2-step real quick. So let's go ahead and bring this out. You're about to hear right now, because all that's gonna matter is this hard hitting 808 and then the pattern that we're gonna use for it. We'll drop a snare on the 3, which is gonna be right here. Right, you're already starting to hear it. It's already starting to sound cool. It's super simple, but once it gets added in, you'll see why. I just love making beats like this too. We've been making a lot of R&B beats recently, so I definitely had to get back into making some of these like Lil Baby Future type beats. And then the open hat, we'll go over here and we'll throw an open hat on probably just like the 1 right here, maybe over here. We might throw it here as well, but for starting, we'll just throw it in there, and we get this really nice pattern that sounds like this right now. And now let's record a pattern on the 808. Remember that we dropped down 1 semitone, so we were actually in B minor. Now we're going to be in B flat or A sharp minor right here. So that's going to be the root note I play, and it's all going to come down to the pattern. So let's just record something in. Man, I always get stuck on that chord. I gotta move that. Let's go over here. What did I hit? Alt Q to quantize, and then Shift D to make them all the same size. And let's go ahead and check it out. Yep. Then we just need to add like a couple reverse on there, and then we can actually switch it up a little bit. Let's actually place an A sharp like right here so we get a new bounce going for the second part. Let's see where it could sound good. Yeah, right there. So right before this one. So you could just clone the 808 and then hit reverse, and then inside the envelope, I like to create it just like this so that we can really have control over when those reverses play. So let's actually place one right here. We'll bring it up an octave so it could be a little bit faster, but we might have to take out like this note. Yeah, it'll sound better without it. Like, it sounds good, but with only having one, it leaves a little bit of space here so that it can drop in to that reverse part. So you kind of want to pay attention to small things like that because it might make it sound a little bit better. And then what we're actually going to do is place one here. We'll change this to give it a little bit of like an offbeat bounce, and we'll delete this one right here. And watch what this is going to do. And then the last thing you could do is go into like the snare, right? And we can put a couple snares of like accent snares is what I meant to say. So we can go over here and do something like this. Find like a good spot for it. leave it a little bit offbeat. That sounded pretty cool. For this, I would leave it pretty open. Maybe add a few more textures. So like Mysteria would be really cool for it if you kind of wanted to add like an eerie sound to it. There's a whole bunch of like cool sounds in there. So if you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. Make sure to download the loop in the description and join the Discord. You can go ahead and drop the beat you make in the Discord on there so we can all hear it. Hope you've been enjoying all the content. I wanted to switch it up. We're about to get back into the R&B vibes because it is that season to make a whole bunch of R&B and trap soul beats. But you know I got to switch it up sometimes and then go back to making like the dark evil type of beats. So with that said, appreciate you watching. Let's hear the full beat.